Welcome back to another episode of the Family Bloodline Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. As you can see, we are going to be talking with Mya about credit. So, with that being said, let's get into it.
Let's go. The family bloodline. The family bloodline. The family bloodline. The family bloodline. Right.
I got first quick. Let me go and jump up in there. Let me go and say a little question. I just wanted to ask about like different credit bureaus. You know what I'm saying? If there are or different credit bureaus and how many are there?
Okay, that's a good question. So there are three different credit bureaus. They are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And the one I'm most familiar with and have dealt with the most is TransUnion. And so I know, depending on where you stay, depending on what region you live in, that's each bureau is used differently. For what I do, so I'm a consumer underwriter, so I deal with people wanting to either buy automobiles, or they're wanting to do home equity loans, or they're just doing an unsecured or signature loan. That's what I primarily deal with. And so we usually pull a TransUnion report to determine if we'll make that loan for them or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mya, how'd you get started in this big time loan business you got going on?
Kind of by accident. I had a person that I worked with that basically told me, you're going to be a loan officer. When I started out in banking, I was in college. I was a part-time teller. I had no dreams of being in banking at all. I thought I was going to do something in television, but ended up doing tellering to pay my way through school. And then I moved into back office loan work, which is just the things that go on in the banking scene that you don't see. So you go in, a customer go into a bank and apply for a loan, but then there's a whole lot of other back work that has to be done with processing the loan and maintaining the loan and all of that. So I started out in back office work. And I had a loan officer that I worked with. She basically said, you're too smart to be doing all this. You're going to become a loan officer.
Well, God bless her.
Right. So I'm really grateful for her. And she's the one that kind of got me trained and started. And then I worked my way up from there.
She made a really, really good point.
Okay.
What I need to say is, fellas, if you're gonna be with somebody smarter than you. You're welcome. You're welcome for that advice. You're welcome.
Well, there you go.
So we are continuing to ask Mya questions about credit, and I have a question, and I don't know why I've never asked you this, but the question is, where can people go to check their credit?
Okay. You can get free credit reports on annualcreditreport.com. Pre-pandemic, you could get a free bureau one time per year. So there's the three bureaus, and you can get access to your report once a year. And what I would encourage people to do is don't get all three at the same time. Check one, wait a few months, check another, wait a few months, and check another. It's actually a really good question because a lot of people don't take advantage of checking their credit because credit bureaus make mistakes. So there could be things out there that don't belong to you. There could be something out there that would red flag you that there may be some identity theft. So you should check your credit report. With the pandemic, I believe you can check your credit report pretty much whenever you want now. Ever since the pandemic started, I'm not sure how long that's going to be going on, but you can check it more than once a year right now because of everything we're going through right now with COVID.
And it won't affect you checking it more than once right now with the pandemic and everything?
No, that's another good question. So checking your credit report never hurts your credit.
Okay.
That never hurts your credit. Where people run into doing too much with their credit is applying for a lot of credit. So a credit inquiry excessively, that can impact your credit negatively.
See,
I
I
got
was
a question.
lying too.
Since we're talking about, checking the credit or whatever, how accurate are those sites like Credit Karma and Credit Wise and things like that?
Experian and all that stuff.
Yeah, so they'll be pretty accurate as far as your credit, like your payment history would be accurate on there, your trade line. So a trade line is just the line that shows what credit you have. So let's say you have a Home Depot credit card, and that'll show up on, the credit report, and that's called a trade line. So all of that information will be accurate on there. What's not accurate is the credit score. The credit scores on those Credit Wise, Credit Karma, all them, they're using a Vantage score. So there's two types of credit scores. There's a Vantage credit score and there's a FICO credit score. And your FICO credit score, that's what lenders actually use when they pull your credit.
Okay.
The Vantage score, it's a free credit score, basically, but it's not gonna match your FICO score. It can be used more as a guide of where you are. So it will do that. So if your Vantage score tells you you're at 690, your FICO score might actually be 715 or something. Like, they're not gonna be the same, but it's just giving you an idea of kind of where you fall with your credit score.
Good question. Good question.
What's some of the reasons why the numbers don't match? Are they just not, using certain bits of information about your accounts and stuff?
Really, the numbers don't ever match because nobody really knows the formula.
Not even
the credit bureaus won't tell anybody how they calculate the score. What they will share, though, is what's made up in your credit score and how things will impact it. So, for example, with the thing that has the largest impact on your credit score is your payment history, and that'll take up 35% of the score. So when people miss payments, and when I say miss payment, I mean 30 days or more. So people are late on payments. You don't have to freak out. I know a lot of people do freak out. They're like, oh my God, I have a late payment, but it doesn't affect you until it's been reported 30 days or more late. So, but that takes up 35%, and it'll take a big blow to your credit score just being late on a payment. The other factor that's high on there is the amount you owe. That takes up 30% of the score. And they say, and I like that it's 30%, just because if you use more than 30% of your credit, that negatively impacts the score. So it's your utilization percentage. Then the other parts are 15% of it is the length that you had credit. So how long you've had credit. The longer you've had an account open, the better. That shows that you're stable. That shows that you've been paying as agreed. And then 10% is the inquiries that we were talking about. That can affect your credit. Not checking your credit, but applying for credit a lot. That affects 10%. And then the other 10% is just credit mix. So it's good to have, you don't want to have all credit cards. You don't want to have all car loans. You want to have a mixture of, a mortgage, an auto loan, a signature loan, and some credit cards. So
that's good.
And what's a signature loan?
A signature loan is an unsecured loan. That just means that there isn't anything protecting the lender for your loan. It's unsecured. There's no car on the loan. All they have is your signature saying that you're going to pay us back what you borrowed.
With an X amount of money.
Yeah, plus interest.
Sounds like a loan shark to me.
Unsecureds aren't necessarily bad, but they're risky. They're risky for the lender and they can be risky for the borrower too.
And they probably usually come with pretty high interest rates too, right? Because it's such a
Yes.
risky loan.
Yeah, they'll be higher because there's no collateral. So if I have a loan and I'm using your car, that will lower your interest rate because if you don't pay, I can come take your car. So that minimizes the risk on me losing money from the loan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Versus if it's a signature loan, I mean,
No collateral.
there's no collateral.
Yeah.
What they gonna do? Take your signature?
Well, we can't do
They
nothing
gonna
with the signature.
sell it on the black market.
Right.
I mean, they'll be,
Steal this signature.
you'll go to court, you can go to court and think they'll take legal actions for the loss, but
Yeah.
there's more risk for the lender, so they're gonna charge higher for unsecured.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, let's get into some more interesting questions here. So we know that how how in our community we're not like really taught how to utilize credit, and then like by the time we get a certain age, our credit is like either non-existent or shot because we just either then got these credit cards and didn't know what to do with them. After when you turn 18, graduate high school, the credit cards start sending everything, and you sign up for these credit cards, and you're just like, oh, I got a credit card, and you just swiping. Then you like go and get some like your credit report number is like what -5. Like what? How did I get there?
Right. You ready to get a
So,
house
like,
and you like, what?
I know. And you're like -0. What?
Not negative zero.
Had all that free money on that card. I got $5,000. I'm finna go buy out the
Right.
block.
You think that it's free. Like you think, like you convince yourself that it's free and just live in this young fantasy land that you could just, spend it all and there'll be no consequences.
Yeah. So what would be your advice to that teenager that gets their first credit card with their big amounts and ready to go? What would you?
That's a lot when you young. Ain't never had no money. Shoot.
Yes.
1,000.
So what would you tell that teenager?
Bowling.
Let's go to Vegas. No.
Well,
me, I'm taking all my girls out to eat tonight.
I think the first thing is for a teen, it's important for them to get the right mindset around credit, because I think a lot of times in our community, we're told credit is bad, or we're told that it's something that we're not going to be able to attain.
That's me.
So I think that first, just helping them understand that credit can have benefits, but it has to be used correctly. It has to be used correctly. If you're going to charge something on a credit card, that means that you have the money to actually pay for it. Like you don't want them to get in the habit of just buying things because they can.
Yes.
And the reason that you want to charge something that you can pay for is because you want to get in the habit of paying the card off in full monthly,
right?
And not carry balances, because that's how they suck you in, is that revolving debt. Because they're gonna, you can charge $500 on there, and now they're gonna say, well, you only need to send us $25 a month.
Yeah, your minimum payment is $25. Like, how does that even work?
Like, you're never gonna get it paid off.
Baby,
with $25.
These credit card companies are gangsters of the country.
Like, you didn't literally spend $800. Like, oh, you have to only give us $40. Just give us $40 back, and you can keep using this card.
And it's purposely done that way so that your minimum payment generally is gonna be less than the interest that's gonna tack on to that at the end of the month. But they're like, oh, just send this amount, and then that's all you send instead of pay it off. Pay it off, you don't pay any interest. They tack it on there, and now you owe a little bit. You won't necessarily owe more, but you're not going to see a big difference. You're like, wait, I sent them $25 and my bill only went down $2.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
$23
in interest payments, baby.
So when you send a little more, is that what they talk about on about principal, or what is that? What is?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So you'll have money that when you send payments on loans or credit cards, some of that payment is going to interest. And then some's going to principal. And the reason I said interest first is because that's what they're going to take first. They're going to take the interest from that payment first. And then what's left will go to principal. So if you can send more than either the minimum, or even if you have a car loan and you have a fixed payment every month, if you can send above that payment, you're paying down your principal faster, which will help you get the loan paid off faster. And over time, it'll help you save interest.
And it also doesn't it sometimes make that initial payment, that monthly fixed payment decrease? And in maybe 12 months, you can actually have a lower monthly car payment than before because you've been paying down on the principal.
On an installment fixed payment, your payment will stay the same the life of the loan. If it lowers, then you maybe have asked the lender, to refinance it.
That's right, exactly right. Which you can usually do if you're in good standing after 12 months. Sometimes you can go and renegotiate these car loan contracts and all these different loans that you have. So
yes, and I'm glad you say that because a lot of people don't know you can refinance your car.
They don't know that. Yeah,
they think once
I
you
just refinance mine.
Yeah, if you've been paying well and your credit score has improved since you bought your car, there's no reason you should be paying a lot of interest on the car. You can refinance it and lower the interest rate and lower the payment. There may be a fee to do that. If you switch lenders, there may be a fee if you stay with your lender, but usually over time it's worth it because you've lowered your interest rate. Significantly.
Yeah, that's what I did, and it definitely helped me out a lot.
Yeah, because the car note is
amazing.
Man. That's sometimes that'd be the second biggest expense you have is the doggone car note and mortgage car note.
Next to my mortgage, my car note.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So speaking on them big payments like that, is it important to save for them major purchases like car and house, or is it something that you jump in and expect a loan to take care of it?
Well, before Mya jumps into that, I'm gonna give y'all my theory about big purchases like that. And this is what, and hopefully I'm not off, but this is what I'm going to teach my kids. Before you buy a brand new car, you need to have a house. If you don't have a house, there's no point in buying a brand new car because the car is going to appreciate as soon as you drive it off the lot. If you have a house, you have something that you can put sweat equity into and you can actually begin to build it, and it can become an asset over time versus that car. So if you're coming out looking to make a major purchase and that's going to be a car, there's two things you need to look at. First off, the car that you want, being able to afford the maintenance on that vehicle. If you can't afford the maintenance on the vehicle, don't get the vehicle.
Just like a house.
You're gonna hurt yourself financially. And again, the second thing is, and maybe people just want a brand new car when they're younger. I get it. I understand the excitement about it. But a brand new car will come in the future if you prioritize your financial future correctly.
Did any of y'all have brand new cars when y'all first started driving? I know I did.
Hell no. I got hand-me-down cars. Girl, I was riding in the hoop.
Yeah, I had a 96, it was a 96 or 92 Ford Taurus with no power steering. So
girl, I don't even know how many cars I had at this point. I done had some Raggedy Anns, okay?
And maybe a person's intention isn't to be a homeowner at a specific age, because sometimes people are comfortable with renting. But financially, make sure that you put yourself in a situation to where your car isn't going to be one of your biggest
expenses
in the future. So that's just me personally how I feel.
And that's crazy because we're set up. Like it's like we get set up when we're young. They set us up, man. Because I never even thought about that. Because that's the first thing you want when you a kid. You want a car. You don't need no house. You still staying with your mom. You go live in the dorms at the college or something. You want a car. So it's like you already I'm automatically getting in debt with the car, with the college debt. Oh, it's crazy.
You get a credit card on top of that.
Credit card.
Yeah, they definitely give you the credit card
benefits.
I remember the day after my graduation, literally, I was checking the mail and I had credit cards. Like people offered me credit cards.
crazy.
And I got like 2 of them, but yeah.
I didn't get
You
my
were
first.
responsible. Good for you, Wanda.
I didn't get my first credit card.
Yeah,
until
we're gonna go with that.
my late 30s. It took me a long time to get a credit card. I refused to have one until I was in my late 30s.
Oh, really?
But,
That's cool.
Yeah,
Because I didn't went through
that.
credit. Oh, speaking of which, okay, so like when you jack up your credit when you're younger and you get ready, like, you know what, let me grow up. I'm ready to take some responsibility. Let me fix this.
I'm never at that point.
Like credit card consolidation, is that okay? How does that look on credit?
I mean, it's okay to do. Sometimes it can be beneficial, depending on how much debt you have and how much money you make. It can be beneficial to consolidate credit. It doesn't negatively impact in any way. Sometimes it can boost your score. It just depends on the situation. So to be honest, I mean, I can't give a blanket answer on it because everybody's financial situation is different. But for some, credit card consolidation is beneficial. You knock out multiple cards and just have one payment. Sometimes it's a lot lower than what you're paying on the credit card. But for some people, it's not helpful depending on how much credit card debt they have because they're locking themselves into a high monthly payment over 3 to 5 years to pay it all off. So it just depends on it depends on the person's financial situation.
And I'm glad you said that because that's going to push into a bit of a segue. Dirk, what was your question again?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
And Dirk was asking if you should save up for those big purchases or not. And I would say yes. If you don't have to use credit, don't. Why would you want to pay more for something? Because if you finance your house, if you finance your car, you're paying more than over time than what you actually bought the car for. So if you buy a $15,000 car, even if you buy a $5,000 car, if you finance it over that 5 years or that 3 years or however long, I mean, now you can go up to 7 years on cars. You're paying interest over all that time. That $5,000 car really cost you $10,000. That $15,000 car really cost you $21,000. So if you can save up cash and pay cash, cash is always king, and you should just pay for it outright.
Maybe in the car dealerships hate when you pull over cash. Oh,
they can't make no money off of you then. They can't make any money.
When you pull up with them dollar bills, they be confused. Like, so you just gonna give me cash, huh?
But it gives you power when you go to the dealership because it's like, are you selling a car today or not?
Right.
You want to sell a car today? I got the cash.
And I was about to walk out of a dealership when I was 24, 25 because I had the cash and I was buying a vehicle cash. And the woman kept asking me if I wanted to or how I wanted to finance it. And I was like, I'm not financing it. I'm paying cash for it. And she started doing some more paperwork and she asked me again, okay, so again, how did you want to finance this? And I was like, if you ask me that question again, I'm gonna go ahead and get up and walk out of here.
Okay.
Because I'm paying cash. She's like, but the vehicle is $7,500. I was like, I'm not trying to be rude. I didn't ask you how much the vehicle was. I know how much it is. So, you know, if you ask me again if I'm going to finance this vehicle, I'll go somewhere else and buy the vehicle.
Yeah.
You ain't my last stop.
I hate buying cars.
With that being said, what people have to keep in mind is if you are making a simple, foolish purchase with a credit card, so you go to Best Buy, you know, I had a Best Buy credit card. I purchased a washing and dryer when I was younger, paid it, I got it, paid it off and cut it up. But yeah, like Maya was saying, you're paying more than the actual cost that you see because you're paying the interest on it and you're paying the principal. And if you get behind, well, you're paying your late fees also. So something that I'm glad she said that I'm gonna have to make sure I'm cognizant of when I start talking to my girls and my son about credit cards, so on and so forth, is helping them understand when you see something initially, give yourself some time, look at it, and actually, you know, say, hey, do I need this right now? If not, is it a need or a want? If it's a want, go to sleep on it, think about it for a day or two or a week, and then come back to it. And if you had the cash for it, get it at that point. If not, just wait, save up for it, because it ain't going nowhere.
Gotta have some self-control.
Yeah, you'll be able to buy it eventually.
Period.
And I didn't get any of that until my 30s.
Me, girl, listen.
I had no self-control whatsoever. I needed. Everything was a need. Everything was a need.
I mean,
I
you
needed
get
it right
$600
then
in the
and there.
bank and it's gone 2 days later.
Man, oh my God. Like I needed everything. It wasn't even just charging. Like even if I had the cash for it, like I had no self-control whatsoever.
Me either, girl.
And I just had stuff. And it was just stuff on top of stuff.
Girl, I remember when my daddy, I used to call my daddy every 2 weeks after I got my paycheck. Daddy, I don't got no more money. He had to tell me, Che, you can't spend your whole checkup as soon as you get it. You got to save some money to last until your next check. And I remember being like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, that is crazy. Cause like I didn't have, like, of course, when you don't have any bills, you're like, all I had to do was put gas in my little Taurus, and that was it. And then, but then there came a point when I spent my gas money, and my parents were like, you work. I'm like, my cell phone finna get turned off. I don't got no gas in my car.
It just wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening.
So then I'm like, I got a credit card.
Balling.
Well, Shay said something that's really important, and it's not necessarily credit. It's more just personal finance and just being sure that you pay yourself first. Any money that you get, 10% of that needs to stay with you. At minimum, 10% at minimum.
Okay.
And
you got to pay yourself some tags.
You hear me?
Okay. Pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. And that will, over time, you'll accumulate, wealth. You'll accumulate a savings. As you keep growing that, from there, you can determine, what you want to do with it. Is this going to become money I'm going to use to buy my car? Is this going to be money I'm going to save up 20% on a house? Is this money I want to use and invest with? But it's a way to just get in the habit of knowing that any money that I earn, any money that I get, I don't care if it's a tax refund, which is really just your money, they've been holding it. Keep 10% of that. Don't spend it all, save it, and just get in the habit of money that comes in. I keep 10% of that. And just put it away, and keep letting it build up.
So easily said.
Yeah, but I've actually been doing that though. I've been doing that for the past few years now. Like my like a portion of my paycheck goes directly to my savings. Directly to my savings. I don't see it, don't touch it.
Thing to do.
And it has been working out. And I'm like, this is like I ain't never.
Okay.
Yes. Hey, no lie. That's how I started saving money.
I have a cushion. I'm like, well, that feels good.
Yeah, you can breathe a little bit more.
A little bit,
just a little bit.
I'm like, cause I'm like, if anything happens, I have, my cushion. But yeah, that's a good tip. Like to always pay yourself first. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So that pushes us over a little bit to dealing and looking at finances and credit. The mindset, our mindsets as a culture.
Let's get into the real talk.
Yeah, and it's your mindset around it and how to be successful and how to go about teaching our kids how to be successful. So, if you would please speak to us about the mindset.
Well,
why you have to do it like that?
You got dramatic.
You got to peel back the layers.
Drama, yeah.
To the core of the situation.
And I didn't ask her. I didn't tell her that I was going to ask her that. It was something that I was thinking about because I can't remember who said it, but that's when I was just saying that that's a perfect segue. But I know that she has a business that speaks to the mindset of finances versus, and hopefully I'm not off while I say this. Okay, it speaks to the mindset of finances more so than, well, this is the program that you can use to fix your credit. because there's thousands of different credit fixing programs out there. But people who generally fix their credit, if they're not taught the proper way to do it and how to switch their minds, they find themselves in the exact same situation that they were just in. So, yes.
Yeah. So the reason I got into mindset work is because, as I shared earlier, I started in banking in college. So for me, I think I started that job back in 2002. And despite everything I know about personal finance, despite everything I know about credit, I found myself in a financial crisis about 5 years ago. And I was so upset with myself because I'm like, how did I even get to this point with everything that I know, what I do for a living? And that's when it dawned on me that it has nothing to do with knowing all the tools and knowing exactly what you're supposed to do and not supposed to do. It all boils down to your mindset around money and your relationship with money and how you were taught to think about money. I think for me personally, it was a scarcity mindset that I had. I didn't know, or I didn't think of money as a renewable resource. I looked at it as something that runs out. And as soon as I took a shift and start thinking of it as a renewable resource, because it is.
Yeah.
Money comes and it goes. If you need more money, there's a way to go get more money. It doesn't run out, or it doesn't have to. It's just up to the person. It's up to your mindset around it. The other part, though, I think for our culture is in my opinion, we tend to make it difficult to start life out in comparison to other cultures.
Can I just say something on that real quick, Maya? Because I have a story about that. Turning 18, living with my dad. I never got no credit cards when I turned 18 and went to college. I didn't get them. And I saw all my friends around me getting them. And I was wondering why I didn't get any, you know? And years later, I'm in my 30s. I'm talking to my dad about it. And he said, oh, yeah, I threw away all your credit card offers. Just threw them away. Didn't tell me about it. And this is where you get into that mentality, that mindset. Like, why couldn't he just teach me how to use them properly? Why couldn't he, help me with it? He just went straight to nope. You're not gonna do right with them. It's bad for you. You're getting in debt. It ain't good. I'm throwing them away. Don't even tell you about it. Crazy.
Yeah. And a lot of times that's because that may have been that person's experience with credit, and their intention is maybe to protect us from that. But it's more helpful to actually teach us, what they learned from their mistake. Because credit isn't bad. There's ways you can leverage it. And it seems that everyone else is leveraging it to their benefit, but we're just, taught to stay away. No, it's bad. And then of course they plug, payday loan places in our neighborhoods everywhere that tempt us when we are struggling to get wrapped up into, and that is predatory lending. So you get wrapped up into that. But I see other cultures, they get set up with, they're gifted a house when they get out of high school. They're gifted like all these assets so that they can start out way advantaged than where we are. And we building everything from scratch.
Zero.
We build everything. And then, we're trying to figure out why we either had a harder time getting there or why we can't get ahead. Well,
yeah, because our parents put utilities in our names when we was 4. That's why.
Say amen.
Stuff like that.
You better say amen.
Oh, yeah.
And then don't pay the motherfucker.
Right.
I mean, luckily my parents didn't do it, but I know parents who have.
Right.
So,
we all know them parents. We all know, we heard them stories, baby.
I'm like, how that man sick and got doggone electricity and gas in his name? I don't understand how that works.
How a 10-year-old got a 450 credit score already?
Okay.
What did you do to your child?
It's
What did you do
sad.
to your child?
Like they just have babies just to get a credit card on their
That
social
is
security. Like
crazy.
just to get the social security numbers, they pop them out. All right,
That's
you gonna
all.
get
That's all.
get taxes for you. We gonna get
That's how
all
we
these
beat the
benefits
man.
for you.
Right.
And it's horrible. But I feel like now that a lot of people are learning more like how to utilize credit and finances
I mean,
than, you know.
yeah. The problem is that you don't learn it in school, and you don't learn it at home.
Well,
I did. I had an economics class. I
And
had a business class when I was in high school.
they teach
It
you.
was like I was a sophomore.
They
But
teach
by
you
the
about
time
credit.
yeah, they went through all of that.
They
Yeah,
taught you about credit. Wow.
Yeah.
I had economics class too. They ain't teaching me nothing about no credit.
It was a business and financing class. I forgot it was a lady who taught it at Rockwood. Yeah, I remember it. And then that's like, well, that's why I learned how to use credit, write a check, how to, balance my checkbook, all that stuff in that same class. So
I
That's
took
good.
I took accounting when I was in high school. Accounting 1.
I took accounting too, accounting and credit. Like, cause the thing about credit that I've learned is just it's so detailed. It's so many rules. It just takes all of these different, what region you in, your age, and okay, now you could pay 30% on that, but it doesn't matter. That won't affect you. But if you have 10,000 and you pay less than 30, then that'll affect it. It's just it's like all over the place. And like if you can't sit down and get a comprehensive understanding of all the rules involved, especially when you're young, when you barely care, because you ain't even, you're not in trouble with nothing yet. It's like almost impossible for some people to digest just all the rules with credit.
Well, I hate to say it like this, but there is an aspect of credit, not simply the predatory aspect, but establishing credit in and of itself that plays to America's racism, unfortunately. And even when we go to get loans, or even if we go to apply credit cards and we identify our race, we're automatically pushed to a bit of a disadvantaged set, unfortunately.
A whole group of us
Yeah.
together. Yes.
And I can't
Do you find that to be true, Maya?
I can only speak for myself as an underwriter. I can say that there are laws against that now. There are fair credit lending laws that say that we can't discriminate based off of age, sex, race, religion, sexual orientation, anything like that. However, usually underwriting is done by a human, and so I can't speak for everybody. I know there's still bias that exists, but there have been acts put out to protect all borrowers from that. We cannot discourage anybody from applying for anything. Sometimes that's hard for me because I'm like, yeah, just, because I already know I'm not going to make the loan. Yeah. But I can't discourage the application. Right. I can't discourage the application. And, but that is true. There's a history of redlining in the banking system with housing and things of that nature. But usually, and why I like underwriting is I have a set of guidelines and you either meet them or you don't. It doesn't matter what your race is. It doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter how much money you make.
That's what it's supposed to be, but
yeah.
Always.
And you said, I'm sorry, go ahead, Trey.
Oh no, that's it. Just I wish that it was like that in reality.
Yeah.
It's hard to
prove
discrimination. That's why the law is just kind of like, because it's hard to prove.
Yeah, and you said that you're not allowed to discourage a loan. Do you feel like there's like a thin line between educating and discouraging? Because I feel like if you were to, somebody getting a loan and you'd be like, that's not smart. Like if you were to educate them rather than discourage them from it, are you allowed to do that?
Yeah, if I were on the front line still, I usually just try to educate, especially young borrowers, because they're just like, oh, I want to get a car, and it's like, okay, do you have a down payment? Have you checked your credit score? Do you know how much you can afford? Things like that. In the end, though, if they still want to apply, I got to take the app.
Right.
So despite any coaching or educating that I try to do, if they're like, oh yeah, I want to try and see what happens, then okay. You take the app. But then even if they do that, you can still coach more. Like, okay, well, here's why I couldn't do it. Even though you talked about that. Here's why I couldn't make the loan. Here's what you can do and try again. However many more months or next year or whatever the situation may be. And just try to coach them in that way. What I will say though, for young people that are watching, what I notice is that young people might have a credit card, and because they've had that credit card 6 months, now they have a credit score. So you have to have something for 6 months to get a score if you don't have anything. And they're like, oh, I have a 740 score. I'm gonna go apply for a car loan. Well, your credit score is only one part of the puzzle on a loan. So your credit score is going to determine how much interest you're going to pay. That's it. It's not an automatic approval just because you got a 700 score.
Right.
And so we need to know how long you've been on your job. We need to know how much money you make. What other debts do you have? Do you pay rent? You have to have established credit also to get a loan. So having something for 6 months, that's not
really established.
No, that's not established credit. That's credit. That's credit, but that's not established credit.
And I'm sure the banks aren't eager to hand out loans to 18-year-olds all over the country.
I know, right?
No, and it's really only because there's no proven repayment history for us to go off of. If you're
But you can't get a co-signer with your parents, and if your parents co-sign, and then blah blah blah, all of that happens. So.
Right, and that's an option. But for young folks to establish credit, I usually try to encourage people to have them save. So once you start working, or they're like 16, even 18 if you have to, because technically you can't do any contractual anything until you're 18. But you can help like your kids build credit by doing a CD or savings secured loan. So all that is putting $100, $300, $500, however much is the minimum at that institution, putting money in the bank. They put a hold on it and put that money into an account, and then you just make the payments back. So you're just paying back your own money. You're borrowing against your own money and you're paying it back. But that will allow them to establish some type of payment history. So when they are 18 or they are 20 and they want to go get a car, they have something to show for as far as payment history that's in their name. Because we can see if it's in your name only or not. We can tell that on the credit report. And then that can save you from having to co-sign with them too, because I don't recommend co-signing, but I understand that some people do it.
I will never do it again. Ever, never.
Oh, you've done it before?
No, I haven't co-signed. I had a co-signer.
So both ways can be crap.
Yeah, like it's stressful both ways. Like, bruh, I know when my car loan due.
Like,
quit calling me. I know when it's due.
Wanda, it's the 28th. Your car note due on the 1st.
I'm like, dang, I know.
You got the money?
I could not wait until I paid that car off. When I tell
you eating some Chinese food, so you got some money, so you go.
Oh my God! Please don't let me not have nothing new. And
that car note that understood what they signed up for. Because a lot of people co-sign and they don't understand that you didn't just co-sign to help them get the loan, you owe it. If they don't pay, you owe this money back to the bank.
Yeah. And he definitely wasn't about to do all that. And I'll tell you that. like I gave you life. I ain't paying damn note. There you go. I ain't doing that.
It's great.
But I could not wait until I paid that car note. Oh, baby. I was like, ha, last statement. Bam. I threw it down like a spade. Like,
okay.
Receipt.
Don't call me no more. It's done. It's done.
It's done.
I don't owe you any more money.
Never.
I slapped that mug down on the table like a spade.
Okay. Wow. Uno, and I'm out. Okay.
Out.
If you ain't calling me to say hello and see how I'm doing, don't call me. I don't co-sign nothing. It's done.
It's over. Yeah, but I understand.
I had that before, Cosigner. That would have been nice along the way.
Oh,
but you can't. We're not doing it. I'm just being honest, y'all. Like, yeah, it wasn't no cosigner for me. Look, I'm baby of 4. I'm gonna need a baby of 5. So.
Oh well, I'm the oldest of 5, so they took a risk on you, girl.
By the time I turned 18, baby, my mama was all out of risks. Okay, she had 4. She already had 4. Okay, by the time I came along,
yeah, she was tied.
She was tied.
I don't know how that worked because, like, my older sister got a car and she got a cosign, and when it came time for me to get a car, I got a damn Cavalier with no brakes. I don't know if I remember the Cavalier.
That's what I tell you. Like the older kids, they might be able to, get a little cosign here, there, a little something.
They're gonna set the standard for everybody else.
My Ford Taurus did not have no power steering. It didn't have power steering. I was on that book like this.
Oh my God.
But then it came full circle, and my little sister got a damn cosigner. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. This is not Easter.
Okay, but I was like, could you save a little bit for me? I mean,
why did I ain't had no brakes. I was going through the alley with one of my cousins, and we was hoping that it stopped. We had the emergency brake pulled up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I remember I had a gray Omni and something happened to it. And baby, my dad did something with it and he came back and I had to touch 2 switches to start that. Every time I drove and I had a skeet.
Right, you got that New Jersey drive.
Right.
Yeah, because it wouldn't start. So it was some rigged I just had 2 wires, y'all, and I'll be like, and I would be gone.
I'm glad the cops didn't ever see you do that with your car. Like, go step out, young lady. Go ahead and step out.
I will listen to y'all stories. I was definitely blessed in the car section.
Oh, wow.
Right.
My first Cavalier, or my first car was a Cavalier, the 91 Cavalier. And if I turned on the left signal, it'd go out. And I had to get towed.
Oh no!
What kind of electrical issue?
I don't know. But as long as I didn't turn that signal on, I was good. But if I forget to turn this,
I gave my Taurus with no power steering back to my parents because my cousin gave me Tyrone, and I was all over the streets with Tyrone. So my cousin gave me Tyrone. You couldn't tell me nothing. Out here in the Mitsubishi Galant.
Killing.
Okay.
Killing the game.
Everything.
I like, Mama, y'all can have y'all Taurus back. Thank you.
So Mya,
bought that car for $1.
Mya, what age do you start teaching your kids about credit and about loans and stuff like that? Because I feel like it's like sex. You need to be honest with them early on. Okay. Let them know what the real is. I'm just serious because it's already going to take them some time to even get it wrapped around their head. So I'm like, what's too young? What's a good age for that?
I think any age that they have an interest is good. I've already taught my daughters about credit and loans, and I just teach. I don't tell them it's bad. I just teach them the right way to use it. Right. And I probably started that when they were elementary school. Wow. When they were probably like 4th, 5th grade. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, because my youngest daughter, she's on top of it already. Like when she gets money, she let me know we need to go to the bank. I need to deposit my money. So I'm like, okay. And sometimes she on me, like I'm still waiting on you to take me to the bank. So, but yeah, I think it's really, there's not an age that's too young as long as it's age appropriate. You know, you don't want to go into details about percentages and things like that with them, but just let them know, you know, oh, don't spend more than you actually have. How much money do you have? You know, oh, looks like you have $1 and you want to get, you know, some candy. You can make anything a teachable moment.
Yeah.
It could be a teachable moment, and just starting them in those settings and helping them with their mindset around money and their relationship with money. I think it's okay to start pretty young.
Yes, Black people, start teaching your kids about money early. Don't wait.
Financial responsibility. Why did you stop coaching?
I stopped. Some of it was just stuff going on in my life, but some of it was that people want credit repair.
Okay.
They want credit repair, and I don't do credit repair because you don't need to pay for that.
Right.
Okay.
People can repair their credit on their own, but so I just kind of got away from trying to do the coaching part for now.
Yeah. I be seeing a lot of people be like, I can repair your credit, and I know they be getting money from these people. I'm like, all you gotta do is do it yourself.
Yep, it can be done by yourself. It's a process.
I think people get, I think they get caught up in those because they be like, oh man, we can do it in like 6 months. You know what I'm saying? They take you 8 months. You know what I'm saying? Versus you doing it. You know, I think that's how they sell people on that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's intimidating to do it all on your own. Try to call the credit bureau.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Your stuff, and you got all this time. You trying to figure it out. It's a lot.
Yeah,
because I know I done hung up the phone a couple times on some. Hey man, I know I don't owe y'all this much, bro. Hold up. But I ain't got no receipts. I ain't got nobody to really. So it's like, it's just me getting mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm like that angry guy on the phone, like, you know
not
what?
the angry guy on the phone.
Yeah, no, that's how I be.
Kill all of this hard ass hang up.
Right, you just can't hang up on nobody no more.
Swipe your ass up.
Oh my God. Well, does anybody have any final thoughts for Mya? You know, we thank you so much for coming on, girl. This has been a great conversation. Really fun, but really serious. I love it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And tell everybody how they can get in contact with you and get your services. And
they don't. They contact me, goddammit.
She got a manager,
Debo.
y'all.
Cue the Ike
Debo.
meme.
A man.
That's what we get for watching Tina.
I know.
I can be reached at myakcoaching.com. So it's MYAK and then coaching, all one word.com. And there I have a blog that's been set up. It has different topics from credit, saving, mindset. You can actually go out there and select what category you may be interested in. And then if there's something you don't see that you have questions about, you can reach me there. And it'll also link you to my Facebook group where you could also post questions if you have more things you want to know or questions that you didn't find on the blog.
Yeah. I mean, we can come back at a later date and continue this conversation and talk about some other financial things, together.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anything else, you guys?
Yeah, parents, stop screwing your kids up.
Please.
And using them for your utility.
Help them. Don't hurt them. It's enough stuff to hurt them out here. Help them. Don't hurt them.
Go sell some goddamn food stamps.
And if you ain't got all your payment, at least have a down payment when going to make a major purchase. You know what I'm saying? Have something on it, Put 5 on it,
Something to the table.
And stop getting a want confused with a need.
Yes.
Wait it out.
You gotta get
I've absolutely learned so much today, like really, and put a lot of clarity to the mistakes I've made in the past too. So thank you, Mya.
Yes, definitely appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Rounds of applause.
Round of applause to mine.
You want to applaud myself?
Yes. Please round of applause yourself.
Yes.
and all your black girl magic. Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah, thank
All
you.
of
Thank
all
you.
of it.
Okay, look, before Fat gets started, thank you
All of it.
everybody for watching. Like and subscribe to the Family Blood
Like and subscribe.
out. Hey, like and subscribe. Good night.
Thank y'all. Thank
We
y'all.
out.
Bye. Oh my God.
Hey, I'm gonna need you to quit over there. This is a business video, and you over there looking smitten. Every time Maya say something, you like this.
Hey, I'm just staring at look, I'm just staring at staring at Maya.
I know he just staring at her like, "Oh, girl."
That's what we gonna title. We gonna title
He
the
say, "Say them."
Fat staring
them.
at Maya for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yes, say them numbers again. He be like, count for me, girl. We was just talking about how when Maya talked, Fat just looked like he gonna jump into her ear and be like, "Ooh, girl."
No, he just be. I'm like,
See, everybody saw it. It wasn't just me. Good. Okay.
yeah.
Everybody saw it. Great.
I wanted
Everybody
to comment on it, but I was
Hey,
like,
I was trying to wait till the we was done recording, but everybody
Right.
saw it. So
I'm like, damn, Mike Tyson. He
man,
been straight by that ear off. You hear me?
I am weak. Oh my God.
I think we got
can see where Maya wanted to wrap up with anything.
Yeah, you had
any
something.
Final thoughts. Is it time for the final thought segment?
I mean,
stupid.
I don't know if any.
Annoying.
Well, I mean, I can tell.
You about to get smacked.